Has Aston Martin created the ultimate driving machine? Well, I'm here in sunny Spain, in Sevilla, at Circuito de Monteblanco to find out exactly that. All the ingredients are there: 665 horsepower, a brand new gearbox, wider, more sporty, better looks. But it's time to find out if they've indeed shaken and not stirred it into the right cocktail to have created the ultimate driving machine. Before we get to the driving action, I wanted to take the opportunity to use this car that's in the presentation area here inside to talk to you a little bit about what Aston Martin is currently doing with their brand positioning. Now, when Lawrence Stroll took over the company, he set out a goal and a path to make Aston Martin the most, let me quote this, the most desirable ultra-luxury British performance brand. Now, that's quite a bold statement, obviously, but I think they're really on the right path here. With the introduction of the DB12 last year being the first super tourer, as they called it, and now this new Vantage, it really looks like they're on the right track. The car looks luxurious enough, it looks exclusive enough, the interior now matches this claim, and by the end of 2024, when you walk into an Aston Martin showroom, all of the cars that are available, the DB12, the Vantage, the newly refreshed DBX 707, and the new Vanquish that's coming out later this year, are basically all brand new products that you can buy, and they're all on this brand new level for this brand. And I think they're really doing a good job. Now, I still need to get behind the wheel of this Vantage and see if it all shapes up as good as they claim, but for now, it really, really sounds amazing. Now, also fun fact, this green color is the exact same green color that's on the Formula One cars, and it's now the most popular color with Aston Martin customers. Used to be silver, used to be the silver that you would see on the James Bond cars. Now it's Formula One green. All right, so we're in the brand new Aston Martin Vantage, heading out on track. Later on, I get the opportunity to also drive it on the road, where I think the car is really going to shine. But to have a safe environment where we can start to explore the limits of this car, obviously we had to go to a racetrack. And we're here at Circuito de Monteblanco, and I have basically the full track to myself. Well, there's a couple other cars going around as well, but there's no nannies, no safety car. I can do whatever I want. Now, Mr. Darren Turner, factory driver for Aston Martin, has told me that his preferred setting for this car on the track is Sport Plus, with the adaptive traction control set to setting 5. So let me just move into that by holding this button. Yes, traction control 5, that's over there. Put the car into manual mode, and let's see what this thing does. All right, here we go. Now, in my opinion, this Aston Vantage should not be a track car. It's a GT or a super tourer, a sports car. It's a car that you want to use on the road, right? But if we have the track available, then let's see how it behaves. Oh, this traction control setting to 5 is already, especially at higher speeds, letting you play around quite a lot. Now, Aston have made quite a fuss about the updated gearbox settings being much faster than the outgoing setup, basically of the same 8-speed ZF gearbox. But to be honest, on the track, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. If you want to compare it to a Ferrari Roma or a 911 Turbo S with a PDK gearbox, yeah, you're just in a completely different league. If this is the maximum you can get out of the ZF Auto, then fair enough. But you want a DCT if you want to do this stuff. Now, the engine sounds amazing. Raw, real, Hoonigan-like, raw V8 sound, which is good, and it's also fast. It has 800 Newton meters of torque, which, now going on power in third, there we go. It's a bit laggy. I wasn't expecting that. I was hoping the power to come from a little bit more down low. Maybe that's the trade-off for having more power, having that power bump to 665 horsepower. Probably also by having bigger turbos, and then compromises that you have a little bit of lag. I was just not expecting that either. Yet again, as soon as those turbos come in, it's
really flat. There's a lot of power, a lot of grunt, and it's effective. Carbon ceramic brakes work well. They actually have a special booster setting for the power assistant brakes, basically for the steel brakes and the carbon ceramic brakes, which they didn't have to do, but they wanted to, just to give you that extra feedback and give the better feel, the ultimate feel, an optimal feel basically out of the ceramic brakes or the steel brakes. But you definitely want those steel brakes with 665 horsepower. Steering is a bit numb. Yeah, not the best. But again, I'm now reviewing it as a track car, which it isn't, and which in my opinion it shouldn't be. You should drive this as a sports car, hoonigan, wild card that it can be, and it is. So, in order to do that, I'm gonna switch everything off. So I just turn the dial on the active or the adaptive traction control all the way to 9, and now everything is off. Give it a little flick. Wait for the torque. Now again, in third gear, that V8 doesn't really pick up that quickly. You really need the weight transfer basically to make it go sideways and then stay on the gas to get into boost, to get it really to maintain that drift. Which I wish it had less lag there, but as soon as it goes, it's very progressive, it's very wild and lively. Second gear, power, third gear, let's go! There's the smoke, yes, yes, yes. This is what you want to do in this car. You want to have fun with it. Kick it in. Wow. Still wheel spin. Yes. I mean, don't review this as a track car. Don't take it to the track to beat somebody in a 911 Turbo S or even a GT3. You just want to do this all day, get a stack of tires, transfer it in. Oh, that could have been more clean. How does Aston Martin let you do this? Woo. Okay. So, conclusion, on the track, don't chase lap times, just bring a truck full of rear tires, switch everything off, and absolutely send it. All right, we need to do one more, or a couple more. Yeah, you just need to chuck it in, that's the way. Oh! Oh, this is amazing. Okay, let's slow it down, I was very serious at first, trying to judge this car for its driving dynamics in a performance way. Don't do that. Don't do that. You can shoot holes in it. Compared to a Roma, compared to a GT3, compared to a Turbo S, it's just not gonna hold up. But you can't do this in a Turbo S. The way that I was just drifting and sliding, you don't do that in a Turbo S. You could maybe do that in a Roma, but it doesn't feel right in the Roma. You can't do it in a Bentley at all, but you can in this. And then it looking like this, I can't stop laughing, I can't stop smiling. You would have this all day long over a Turbo S or a Roma. I would, at least. Based on this experience, I would. I would just need a big like contract or sponsorship deal with Michelin to supply me with an unlimited amount of Michelin Pilot Sport 5S's and just be able to do this all day. Third gear, smoke, 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 smoke. Oh my goodness. Okay, I love the Aston Martin Vantage there. If you want to see more of these kind of reviews and this stuff, you would help me a lot by subscribing to the YouTube channel, following me on Instagram, and hopefully I get to do this with some more cars. This is my first time being invited by a big brand like Aston Martin to come to an official launch of a car, and it's the best thing there is. And I want to thank Aston for the invite. I want to thank you guys all for already following and watching these videos. And if you're in the market for a 911 Turbo S or a Ferrari Roma, which I think is even more expensive than this also, please consider the Aston Martin Vantage, because you're gonna have so much fun. It's such a nice place to be. I was a little bit too nitpicky, but at the end of the day, if you say it's for drivers, it's for people that want to have fun, that's exactly what this car is. Job very well done, Aston Martin.
So that is the track driving done. What a machine. How much fun was that, just drifting it around? I think I've already drawn my conclusion, but to be very sure of that, I now have the chance to drive one of these cars on a beautiful scenic drive. VM63 AML is my car in Ion Blue, an absolutely stunning spec. Personally, I would have loved it if it had the chrome grille. The all black is a little bit of a trend, I know, and it's maybe a little bit more sporty, but I love that like shiny chrome grille on the silver car, like the 72. I love that spec. But anyway, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to get behind the wheel of this beautiful Ion Blue Aston Martin Vantage, take it out on this beautiful scenic drive and see what it's like to live with one of these cars. Now, before we get into it, I have to hand it to Aston Martin with the attention to detail. They already said that they really focused on the details in manufacturing and engineering these cars, but also they supplied an iPhone basically connected to the car with CarPlay with a preset playlist to be able to also fully experience the Bowers & Wilkins audio system, which apparently is pretty good. So yeah, they really pulled out all the stops. Blue carbon fiber here in the interior. I'm not sure, yeah, you can see that, which is a very nice touch. It's just a very, very lovely place to be. As I also already experienced when I was at the static launch, basically, of the car. But now being in it and being able to drive it, even more so. I'm gonna take it out, do a few miles, a few kilometers, just let it sink in, and then I'll tell you all about my experience. All right, sat nav is set. Climate control to auto. Let's have some ventilated seats while we're at it. Ooh, nicely. Drive. Here we go. So apparently they've set out a route of about 2.5 hours beautifully here in the Spanish countryside. So let's see where that's going to take us. The car starts by default in sport mode. You have a wet mode going down from there, and also an individual mode, giving you the opportunity to create your own bespoke mode. But this is supposed to be the most comfortable setting. Let's see how we get on. I like these comfort seats. They're really good, and you can get so nicely low. The seating position is really good, and that's also one of those details that they said they really focused on. They made the seating position purposely 10 millimeters lower in this compared to the DB12, which shares a lot of the components of the interior. But because the seating position in this car had to be lower in order for you to have a more hunkered down and connected feel to the car, they also adjusted all the layout basically of these controls accordingly, just in order for you to still be able to reach everything in the right way while being 10 mil lower. So even when they had, it could have been probably fine if they just carried over everything from the DB12 straight away without any adjustments, just maybe to the size of the cockpit. they didn't. They went the extra mile in adjusting everything just so that you have the ultimate driving position, and I think they succeeded. It's a special place to be. It's a lovely place to be. The materials are so nice. I love this blue carbon. I don't want to know what that option costs, but it does look amazing. All right, let's head out, find some windy roads, and see what this car is like. Let me just give you this experience. That's in the loudest setting, and probably from the bouncing of the camera, my camera isn't mounted in the ideal way, but still you can see how busy the road is, and also how bumpy the car is even. And this is in the softest setting. You can also probably hear the road noise quite a lot, and that's very present. It's something I wasn't expecting and maybe not hoping, but I'm being very nitpicky here. The engine is fast, and it's definitely quick enough. And the noise of the V8, sometimes it surprises me and it sounds like a proper muscle car. From the outside, it's not that special. I guess it's more special than the turbo noise of the 911 Turbo. It's a good V8 noise. Not too exotic. Compared to a lot of normal road cars, obviously, it's a lot more exotic. Is it exotic enough? Bouncing a little bit there. Is it exotic enough? I'm not entirely sure. Is it entertaining? Yes. But it doesn't really encourage me or make me smile in the way that I hoped it would be. In that respect, I really miss the V12 of the DBS. And I hope that that new V12 that will be put into the new Vanquish will deliver on that note to really give it the characteristic. And the old naturally aspirated V8 from the Vantage, that was an engine with a lot of character, which was super loud and crazy and fun. This just, it's good enough. It's more exciting than a Turbo S, and that kind of makes it job done. I sound very negative in this part, but for some reason some of these parts on the road here are slightly underwhelming, and maybe I need to look at it from a different perspective. Let me do a couple kilometers more, find a nice place to stop, look at the car from the outside, and then rethink all that. Now, just a couple of things I wanted to point out from the interior mainly that I now found out while driving the car a little bit more. Let's fire this up so it's not as warm inside, because it's pretty warm here in sunny Spain. But anyway, a couple of things I wanted to point out. One, there is this piece of plastic here. There's this piece of plastic here that I hit my knee when I'm driving, especially if you're cruising and you want to just have a solid throttle position. That's not entirely comfortable. Maybe it's just my seating position, but it annoyed me a little bit, which was funny. This all works very well. What I very much like is that you can basically adjust all the different parts of the drive modes, which you can select here on the big dial Sport Plus track, but you can then adjust your exhaust and your suspension completely independently from everything at all times. So that's very, very easy and very convenient. The infotainment system definitely is good. I've only been using the CarPlay, to be honest, so I don't really have a reference of the rest, but I think this is exactly what you want from it. And then the biggest point that I want to make about this dash, which is pretty good, is that the gear indicator, so let me point this out, is this tiny, let me try to focus this thing, tiny
little one that's over there. And even if you change the dash to like the other setting, let's see, view, and then go like this, automatic. There we go. Now we have like the big rev counter here in the center, but still the gear selector is here and your speed is in the middle. And there's no way to change that, and especially on the track, that annoyed me. So you just don't have a clear view of which gear you're in, which is, when you're shifting yourself with the paddle shifts, is not ideal. And I think a thing that they might even actually update over the air, because quite a lot of people have been saying that. Other than that, the interior is beautiful. The Bowers & Wilkins system is good. It's not extremely good. I think I've heard better systems in the BMW iX, for example, but that's a completely different car. So I'd forgive it for that. And in this segment, maybe compared to the Burmester system in the Porsche 911 Turbo S, it's got a stiff competitor in there. But other than that, it's good, and it's exactly what you want from a car like this. You have all the creature comforts, ventilated seats. There's plenty of space in the cockpit, and also behind here you have plenty of storage, cup holders. All that jazz is all very well in order. So overall, it's a very, very nice place to be, and I really enjoyed my time in this car on the road and overall. And if I were in the market for one of these, for a car in this price range, as a sports car that you could use every single day, and you want that, just that little bit more of exclusivity, that little bit more of style and elegance, than just a 911 Turbo S, if I may say that so boldly, I would definitely have this over that car, and I would definitely also have it over a Ferrari Roma, which I also think is more expensive, but still I feel that it falls in the same category of cars. Well done, Aston Martin. So, the brand new Aston Martin Vantage then. Is it good? Yeah, it's very good. Is it perfect? No, it's not. Is it everything I want it to be? I think it is. It does exactly what you want from it. It looks absolutely stunning. I think it's by far the best looking car in its segment. It's fast, it's definitely fast enough. If anything, I wish the gearbox were just a little bit more exciting. Also on the road to drive, downshifts just aren't as spine tingling as you might want. But as a package, it is very good, and Aston Martin has definitely stepped up their game massively. I want to thank them for inviting me. I want to thank this beautiful car for hosting me today here in sunny Spain. And I'm going to sit down and have a drink, because this was intense, but it was amazing. And everybody that's in the market for either a 911 Turbo S or something in this price bracket, please think of the Aston Martin Vantage, because as a sort of daily sports car and ultimate fun machine for the road while having ultimate comfort, I don't think it gets much better than this.